Set. 4, 3, 1.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Sunday Morning Quarterback. Today, we are 4 pastors who love ministry, leadership, and sports. Now, we got a safety from Brigham Young University, Colts, pastor of Transformation Church, doctor. We respect degrees here. Dr. Derwin Gray, how you doing today, sir?
Hey, I am doing good, and that has to be the best podcast intro I've ever experienced. Now, I have to give some love to the Carolina Panthers. So I was with the Colts and the Carolina Panthers. So, yeah.
I'll pass it to your fellow Carolina Panther fan in the corner. John, how you doing from Virginia today?
Doing well, man. It's good to have somebody else that can take the charge against some delusional Cowboy fans today. So excited about this.
Come on,
wait, hold on. Am I on with Cowboy fans?
Yes, sir.
Yes, 2 of them. The Frajoski's deep,
Yes,
man.
come on.
Okay. So, a moment of transparency here. I grew up in San Antonio, Texas. So
Okay, I'm liking it.
I didn't have a choice not to be a Dallas Cowboy fan.
Yes.
So, but when I say Dallas Cowboys, now I'm gonna go old school. Joseph, you may not be able to go to this place, but when I say Dallas Cowboys, I'm talking about Everson Walls.
Yeah. Michael
I'm
Down.
talking about Randy White.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Ed Too Tall Jones. I'm talking about Dennis Thurman.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Danny White, Roger Staubach.
Keep going,
Yeah.
baby.
I'm talking about Tony Dorsett.
You know it.
I'm talking about
Robert Newhouse.
Robert Newhouse.
Yes.
I'm talking like old school, man.
Yeah.
So I was a Dallas Cowboy fan up until 1993.
Oh,
I know where you're going.
And so
I know where you're going.
this is what happened. I find myself on the field with the Colts. I'm about 8 yards off the line of scrimmage playing cover 4. And I'm looking in the eyes of Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith,
wow,
Jay Novacek, Michael Irvin, Stepnowski, and I go, I'm not a fan anymore. So that ended my fandom of the Dallas Cowboys. And so I had the honor and privilege of actually beating the Cowboys is either once or twice in my career. However, I will say this. The best football team I have ever seen was the 1993 Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
When you play in the NFL, everybody's good. But they were at a whole nother level of good. It was still to this day, I just remember going, there's no possible way for us to win this game. They were that good on offense, defense. It was
I'm loving it.
Emmitt Smith ran so smooth, you didn't think he was that fast until you got on the field and you couldn't catch him.
Wow.
Troy, my defensive back coach, George Kotavlis, who coached in the NFL for decades, said Troy Aikman is the most accurate quarterback he's ever seen.
Wow.
So that man could throw a football through the window of a car traveling 50 miles an hour, 30 yards away. I mean, it was. So I have nothing but respect for what Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones built. Now, here comes reality.
Oh, no.
Always reality.
You guys have not been to the Super Bowl since 1996.
Yep.
So I just gotta let you know that that's before Google, before the iPhone. I mean,
I know.
so like children today don't even know that Dallas was good. So I'm just letting you know. I had to let you know that.
I appreciate it.
Don't let what I hear you saying as a pastor is like the date of your salvation. I turned from death to life. So there was a path I was on celebrating, and then I got saved, and then I put on a good path, and I appreciate you sharing that.
See, Pastor Derwin, we love talking about God's faithfulness. You know, I equate us to the nation of Israel wandering in the desert for 40 years, but all I know is that the wise men followed the star. So we
That's
just try
right.
to keep
That's
it
right.
biblical, right, Dad?
That's right. That's exactly
Well,
right.
I'm not quite sure where that star is leading y'all, because it definitely ain't to the Super Bowl.
No, we're just along for the journey. We're
Hey,
along for the journey.
our new motto though is there's always next year.
Yep.
And next year is
Yes.
upon us.
Yes. You know, one of the things is when you read the Greek, Galatians 2:20, you know, I've been crucified with Christ, and I lives, it was Christ who lives in me. I live by faith in the Son of God who loves me and gave himself for me. Well, in the Greek, it says, I live by the faithfulness of Christ, that Christ faithfully obeyed the Torah, the 10 commandments. Christ faithfully obeyed God because we couldn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you guys as Dallas Cowboy fans almost have that much faith.
Almost. Almost. Well, hey, Pastor Derwin, while we're on the topic, we're going to talk a little sports up front, and then we'll talk ministry and leadership on the back end. So I got a few questions for you. While you were talking about your glory days, what was it like? Just kind of take us behind the curtain. What was it like playing at a high level, both college and pro, and what were some of your most memorable moments?
Yeah, so for me, and everybody's experience is not the same. So high school at Converse Judson in Texas was, man, there's nothing like Friday Night Lights. There's nothing like that. That was fun. College, BYU, went on to have a legendary career there. That was fun. When I got drafted to the Colts in 1993, all that ended. It went from fun and camaraderie to you are swimming in the water with piranhas and your teeth better be sharp or you're going to be. So my first introduction, I'm noticing like, okay, man, I'm in the locker room with some dudes that are like 34, 35. And I was drafted specifically to take the jobs of some other veteran safeties. And I remember during film, one of the safeties, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but one of the veterans told me to do the wrong play. So I told the coach in film, I said, Coach, well, he told me to do this play and it was wrong. And the coach said, blankety blank blank, blank blank blank. It is your job as a professional to know the playbook and not rely upon anybody else. And I was like, Dorothy, we are not in Kansas. And so it was just a different makeup, the level of pressure to feel like you have to make a team. And so I distinctly remember my last preseason game. We're playing Green Bay. By the way, I almost picked off Brett Favre. This is before he became the legend. He underthrew the ball. I broke on it great. I had a really good game. And I just remember before the game is I said, you know, if I get cut, it's going to be in light of me playing the best I've ever played. And I had a great game, and Monday comes around and I see guys getting cut, and I'm not sure if I made the team. So I go to the defensive back coach, you know, I'm 21, and I'm like almost crying, like, Coach, did I make the team? He goes, yeah, you made the team. Go lift weights. Yeah. So the NFL was a business. By my third year in the NFL, I was a team captain. So one of the most memorable things for me was going into our very first game, and we're getting ready to play my preseason. I had a really good preseason. I was starting in nickel and on special teams, and Ted Marcher Broda, who now has passed away, was the head coach. And before the game, he says, hey, I want you to go out with the captains. You're a captain of this year's team.
Wow.
And I was like, okay. And like, it gave me like this, like, wow, you believe in me. And so I went on that year to have a great year on special teams. In back-to-back games, I picked off Steve Young, who's a BYU alumni. And then also we were down 24-3 against the Miami Dolphins. And I still remember the defense is called Buffalo 98, which means I came out of the deep half and I lined up in a box. I came in on a blitz. hit Marino, just boom, hit him. And I didn't try to hurt him, but I did. So he was affected the rest of the game, ended up missing like 6 weeks, and we ended up coming back to win 27-24. So that year, I was very instrumental in our team making it to the AFC Championship game. I was one of the best special teams players in the entire AFC and NFL. And we lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers in the last minute of the AFC Championship game. If they would have had instant replay like we have now, we would have won because Cordell Stewart ran out of bounds, came back in and caught a touchdown pass.
Wow.
Yeah. And let me say this too. So after that game, we as a young Colts team said, we'll be back. And we never were.
Going back, yeah.
So from a spiritual perspective, right? In following Jesus, let's be so abiding in Christ that we make the most of every second we have, because the next one is not guaranteed.
Yeah.
That's cool. Dad, I know it's not every day we get to talk to a NFL vet, so I know you're clamoring to ask a question. Shoot him one.
Well, just when you were talking about that, I was thinking, was Captain Comeback your quarterback? Who was your quarterback? Yep.
Jim Harbaugh was our quarterback, and so Jim actually was the backup for the first few games of that 95 year. Craig Erickson, who we got in a trade from Tampa Bay, was the starter. But in Lindy and Infante's offense, who has now passed away as well, there was a lot of corner routes, and Craig, that was not his strength. And man, Jim came in, and Jim Harbaugh was one of the funnest teammates I ever had. That guy. He was gritty. He was tough. And you just always believed that you had a chance. Like, he didn't have like an A+ arm. But man, Jim found a way for us to win. And also, he used to have a pond in the back of his house, and I love to fish, and I'd go catch a ton of catfish behind his house.
That's super cool. That's super cool. Hey, fellas, we'll send it around the horn real quick. We know that preseason is underway. So, John, I know you're excited about your new quarterback. Let's go around the horn real quick. What storyline are you most watching going into this NFL season?
Yeah, well, it's not going to be the quarterback right now for the Panthers. We've had a tough game. We're not going.
He was running for his life.
It's not my narrative. The question I do have is the push with the whole running backs and their pay and their value.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I understand that, for a long amount of years, offensive linemen probably could have waved that flag, or many other people, but no, those guys are starting to see a little better pay scale. And I think it's a change in the game. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not really a big fan of the only pass methodology. I think we've gotten away from allowing some people fight for the ball, allowing for a lot more incompletions. I really love to see, I appreciate the protection that people are giving to wide receivers in the air, unguarded, unprotected. But I really like to see more physical play on the receivers before the ball arrives, to see running backs reinvigorate some of the grinding it out. Maybe I'm just old school football. I appreciate the 7-10 football scores and, just eking across the line. I really like to see maybe some of the rules change to shape not just a pass happy offense, but a more balanced approach to actually seeing football play in the same way. And I don't know if it can be done to some degree, because a lot of even the defensive players have really transitioned from run stoppers, which are of little value anymore, to pass rushers or coverage guys. And so there'd be a long tenure now where you have to really start to see that culture drip down into college and high school. But I think that's the narrative for me. I don't think it's going to change their value for quite some time. I think the league should take a look at some of the rules, some of the expectations, and let them play a little bit more on the outside of the hash marks.
Yeah, that's good. Dad, what storyline you watching?
Go
ahead, sir. Go ahead. Yeah, jump in.
I need to say, because that was
jump in.
I mean, hey, let me tell you, that's better than the stuff that be on these national networks. What you just said, and so let me just dive in just a little bit, because as pastors, we understand that total depravity is not just individual, it's systemic. So the running back role is a systemic issue in a greater part of what's happening throughout the league. So let me back it up with this. The NFL has never been more profitable and popular. I'm a preacher, so you got to have two P's. It's never been more profitable and popular. The things that you just described, Pastor, it is not going to take place because people love to see the offense score points. So when I played in the 90s, if you threw for 225 yards a game, man, you had a good game passing. Now, if you don't do that at halftime, there's a problem. As it pertains to player safety, I understand that. Cognitive, I understand that. But the reality is you have very large human beings running very, very fast towards each other in a violent way. There's only so much that you can really do. So I think the running backs find themselves in a system that's not conducive for them to make more than 10 or $12 million a year at their pinnacle. And that's just the nature of it because you spread this thing out. Now, don't even get me started about college football. It's hard for me to watch college football because with the RPO, the offensive lineman literally can be 3 yards and sometimes 5 yards downfield on a pass. For the layperson, a defensive player reads the keys by what the offensive line do. If they run block downfield, it's a run. If they pass block, it's a pass. But now you can actually pass when they do running, and they hardly throw a flag. So no wonder you have these outrageous scores. And also what the tempo does is it makes your playbook very thin. And so general managers in the NFL do not like the RPO. They don't like the tempo because they have to teach their players how to actually play well-rounded football.
No, that was great. Thank you for educating us there. Take us behind the curtain. Dad, what are you watching? What storyline?
My main thing that I'm going to be watching, and it's really not anything new, but it's just the AFC quarterbacks. There are a lot, and I mean a lot of loaded rosters from top to bottom. I mean, there's probably 8 to 9 teams just probably in the AFC that their rosters are loaded, and they have young guns that are no longer young guns anymore. These guys now are ready to go. And you got, I'm going to keep my eye on Cincinnati. And then I think the Chargers are a little behind the 8 ball with these upper echelon teams, but I think that they can really compete. And if they can get some rhythm, I think they can go far. But I want to see Cincinnati and the Chargers, who've never won a Super Bowl, possibly get to the mountaintop. So I'm keeping my eye on that. They got great receivers, great quarterback. I think the defenses are pretty stellar. So it's just watching all these new guys, and then you got the old guard with the Jets. Let's see if old Aaron can go back to his glory years and compete against these young guns that are ready just to take it to that next level. So I'm really fascinated in these. Yeah, I'm fascinated to see all these teams that are just upper echelon. They've got players and talent everywhere just to compete. So I think we're going to have real good football this year.
Yeah,
Pastor,
tell us what you're watching.
If I can, well, just to tag on, because you guys have brought us some great things. Aaron Rodgers is a little quirky. I don't agree with everything that he does, but what I will say is the man can play quarterback. I'm not concerned about him playing quarterback. What I want to know, who's going to watch his back?
Yeah, can they protect him?
Can they protect him?
Yep.
I actually think the key for the Jets season is not Aaron Rodgers, but Bryce Hall, the running back.
Yep.
Can he come back and be healthy? Because that man is special. So when you can run the ball, that gets the defense out of blitzing and those types of things. And then Rodgers can do what he does well. So, but the AFC, I mean, is loaded. Pat Mahomes is Dan Marino, John Elway, and Roger Staubach in one.
Yep.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yep.
And you know, we need to also look out for Lamar Jackson.
Yes.
You
Yep.
know,
Watch out.
he's got an all-pro tight end. He's got a receiver in OBJ that if he's healthy, and then he's got a young guy, Flowers. And so if they can run the ball and do play action pass, they're going to be tough too. And you know, their defense is always going to be good.
I agree. Well, fellas, football season is right around the corner, and it's going to be exciting to watch. Let's shift gears to ministry and leadership. And Pastor Derwin, I just want to say thank you just on behalf of all the different pastors who've never met you, just for the influence that you have over us, and just for setting a standard for preaching and for leadership. And thank you for being on today. And really, we just want to ask, what is the Lord currently teaching you as a pastor and as a leader?
Yeah, well, thank you for those gracious and kind words. The first thing the Lord is teaching me that any influence and any gift I have is his gift. And I think there's a beauty in hiding yourself in the shadow of his grace. I am learning that the most important thing I can do for Transformation Church is to be a spirit-led, healthy husband, father, and then a pastor.
Yeah.
Like those are the most important things.
One of the things I've admired most about you, I feel like, you know, nowadays in ministry world, there's so many different tribes, and I feel like you kind of just run your own race. And I just admire your preaching style. I feel like we talk about preaching a lot, and how people are either very expositional and maybe lack a little passion, or some of the passion guys lack a little exposition, but you kind of cut through a lot of that. I saw you were at the leadership summit in Chicago a few weeks ago. What about on the leadership perspective is something that the Lord's showing you from a pastoral leadership lens?
Yeah, so I would say we have to look at leadership through the eyes of Jesus and not Western culture. So remember when Jesus is getting ready to go to the cross, and he shared that with his Jewish disciples, and the sons of thunder, the two brothers, began to argue about, hey, Christ, you know, let us be at your right hand and left hand. So Jesus is showing them what leadership is about, and they're jockeying for position. They even had their mom go to Jesus. So Jesus gives another example of washing feet. So leadership is not just influence. Leadership is becoming what you want others to be. And what you want others to be is to reflect a cruciform, humble model. Jesus says, we don't lord it over like the Gentiles do. So it's a model of serving. It's a model of humility. Humility doesn't mean you think less of yourself. Humility means you think less of yourself and more of Christ and more of people, not where you don't have boundaries, but where you actually have healthy boundaries. And so in this season of my life, I'm learning to lead with healthier boundaries, because a stretched out, worn out, overtaxed Derwin is no good to no one. And my first ministry is to my wife and to my kids. And then as it pertains to preaching, style does not matter to me. This is what matters to me. John 5:39 through 40. Jesus says this to the Pharisees: you search the scriptures diligently because you think in them you have eternal life, but the scripture testifies to me, but you won't come to me. So people can do Bible exposition and miss Jesus. And there can be people who have great stories and miss Jesus. And so from Genesis to Revelation, every turn, every corner, every stop, every byway is a portrait and picture leading us back to the glorious, beautiful, redemptive work of Christ. The same gospel that welcomes you into the kingdom is the same gospel that grows you into the kingdom. It's the same gospel that welcomes you into the new heavens and new earth. What I want to see is a resurgence of Jesus-centered gospel preaching pastors who are living it by God's grace and who are infecting their congregations. When lesser identities become more important than who we are in Christ, that's when we get into division. And who is the author of division? The devil. You know, like right now, if we were to say Apple, Samsung, division. If we were to go Jordan, LeBron, division. And Lord forbid if we say Republican or Democrat, division. And I believe that when you drown people in the grace of God and in the glory of God in the face of Christ, we don't suffocate. We actually get spiritual gills to begin to breathe a new type of environment of grace. And that's where revival takes place. Revival takes place when lots of Jesus is communicated a lot.
Well, I appreciate that, Pastor Derwin. More Jesus in our preaching. Excited to see this NFL season. Hopefully we'll have you back sometime and talk some more football.
Sounds good. I would love to. You guys are great.
Yes, sir. Everybody have a great day out there.
All right, see y'all.